thank you for joining us for our second episode of Buds and Suds. I'm Grant, here with three of my other buds. We have Peter, Nick, and Kevin. It's March 14th, and today we'll be trying a few new beers, discussing what we like and dislike about them, as well as answering some questions from you, our awesome viewers, and just talking about beer and probably some other random stuff. So let's get into it. Kevin, what was your last beer you had?
Last beer I had was Saturday Morning Cartoon Apple Cinnamon Breakfast Cereal Milk Stout. And it was by Brew Rebellion. It's probably the longest name I've ever seen on a beer. But it was pretty good. It tasted like it had a little cinnamon, little apple at the end, real smooth.
Where are they from?
Where are they from?
San Diego, I bet.
Nope, San Bernardino.
One of the Sands.
Yeah. They had some other stuff that looked good. The cool part is their little wax cap there actually has some breakfast cereal that is apple cinnamon flavored.
Is it edible? Can you eat it?
You know, I thought about eating it and I couldn't do it. We could eat it right now.
It reminds me of a voodoo donut. Nick, what was your last beer?
Well, that's a good question because I don't remember.
It's probably one of the beers we're supposed to drink today.
I know before I finished the bottle of Sailor Jerry's, I had a Ballast Point Sculpin, pineapple Sculpin.
How was that?
It was good. Yeah, they actually they kind of played off of it like they did with the grapefruit Sculpin, but it's definitely pineapple's definitely more strong. It's a lot sweeter than the grapefruit Sculpin. But it's
I always see that they have like 8 different types of Sculpin out there.
Yeah, they have like a habanero and.
Except for the normal IPA, because it's impossible to find. Peter, what was the last beer you had?
Last beer I had was 10 Barrels Locals Only. It's one of their local releases that they're releasing to all the local restaurants, tap houses, anybody who carries their beer here in Bend. Honestly, it reminded me a lot of the OG that they stopped making last year. And it was really depressing for me when they got rid of the OG because it turned into one of my favorite beers as soon as we moved here. And then they stopped making it and changed it to Joe. But with this locals only release, it's kind of a nice comeback and gives it that nice hoppy flavor. But it's really a light, not overwhelming taste. So you could drink 3 or 4 of them, and it's pretty easy to drink during the summer. So I'm excited to have it back.
Do they brew at the restaurant in Portland, the 10 Barrel?
Don't know. I haven't been there. I know that they have their brewery over off Empire here in town, but not sure.
I was just curious. My last beer I had was the C-Note Imperial Indian Pale Ale from Lompoc. It was good. I mean, I drink it again.
Some pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I like Lompoc. It's kind of fun to say.
Yeah.
Lompoc. It's a pretty cool beer label. I liked it. I mean, nothing jumped out at me. I'd probably want to try it again to really taste it.
Was it very
boozy? The other beer, though, I want to talk. What?
Was it very boozy? Because you said it's an Imperial?
Yeah, it's a 6.9%. And then what? It doesn't have the IBUs on it. The beer I wanted to bring up, though, I had the other night was the Euphoric Brett IPA by Culmination Brewing. That thing was awesome. It tasted almost like a creamsicle, but then it was bitter at the same time. Might sound horrible, but it was delicious, so I highly recommend it.
Who was that by?
Culmination Brewing. Can you see the picture? Probably not.
Oh, yeah. Didn't you send a picture of that to all of us?
Yeah, and then none of you responded to my text.
That's right.
But it was delicious. It was pretty cheap. It was only like $5.
That's pretty good.
For 22. I mean, not cheap, but not expensive. All right, everyone. It's time for a session of Mind Your P's, Q's, and A's. This is where you guys ask some questions from social media, and we do our best to answer them. Our first question is from Tara Toombs on, I believe, Instagram, and her question is, what is a girlfriend beer? So, who wants to take that one?
I'll go ahead and take that one.
Is it girlfriend or GIF or this
No,
gluten free?
That's definitely gluten free. Did you just get that?
Whatever. I'm just messing with you guys. I knew the whole time.
All right, I'll talk to you about it.
A girlfriend, gluten-free.
Yeah, here's some girlfriend beer for you. So gluten-free beer, I guess first you can talk about some people are allergic or not really into gluten, which is a protein found in
Oh my god.
wheats. Yeah, we're going to get into it there. No, we'll skip the dry part, but basically it's a beer that's not brewed with any malts that contain gluten, so you're looking at mostly rice or corn or buckwheat, and then it's fermented, and people with a gluten intolerance can drink it.
Awesome. That makes sense.
I think Omission Brewing in Portland there, or I think that it might even be Widmer. I think they make a gluten-free beer or multiple beers.
Awesome. Isn't Bud Light gluten-free? Budweiser?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I always thought it was brewed with rice. Never mind. All right. What is that?
The dog's
Morgan.
talking.
Okay, so let's go on to our next question. Thanks for that answer, Kevin.
Yeah.
Now we have Jess_TMac from Twitter. What beer should I drink if I don't like beer? Ooh, that's an important question. Everyone should drink beer. What do you think, Peter?
All right, so I think a good starting point is to find a beer that has a pretty heavy fruit taste, so like the Schofferhofer grapefruit Hefeweizen, or a lot of people tend to like the summer shandies. My wife started in her heavy beer love with fresh squeeze, and it's a pretty easy drink. It's got a lot of flavor. It's not going to really hit you hard with that standard natty light, Bud Light flavor. It's going to give you a lot of more complex, fruity taste, and something you can enjoy even if you don't like beer.
Or anything. Yeah, makes sense.
Shout out to Natty Light.
Yeah, Natty Light. Been there, done that. All right, so far we have 2 questions. Thank you both Jess and Tara for those. That was awesome. If any of you guys have any questions, you can reach us at our social media outlets, which I believe our marketing rep can tell us what they are.
Is that me?
That's you.
You can follow us on Periscope, Instagram, and Twitter, all at _Buds&Suds. Or you can email us at budsandsuds2016@gmail.com.
Yep, you got a point, Nick.
At Buds&Suds.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for that, Nick.
Cheers.
Cheers. Let's talk about some beers now, guys.
Yeah.
So our 3 beers for this evening. First, we're going to start out with the Sculpin Ballast Point IPA. They are a great IPA, followed up by the Arrogant Bastard Ale by Arrogant Bastard Brewing Company. And we're going to finish off with Deschutes Black Butte Porter. So let's go ahead and jump into the first one. So first on our list, we're going to start with the Ballast Point Sculpin IPA. According to the brewer's website, they are based in San Diego, California. This is a 7% IPA with 70 IBU, and it looks like it's born sometime in 1996.
That old?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had
That's
no
awesome.
idea.
20 years to Sculpin. Here you go.
Yeah, cheers to that. So let's go ahead and give it a taste and see what you guys think. Peter, when you're ready, give us some thoughts on it.
Go ahead, Grant.
Better. I'll start with the color. At least it's pretty pale, almost yellow. Kind of looks like you're a little dehydrated when you go to the bathroom. It doesn't taste like that though. It tastes great. But that's just the color I'm getting.
Is your guys' hazy?
Now it's pretty clear for me.
Mine's cleared up, but I poured out of a can, so I don't know if that affects that or not.
I don't know. That's out of a bottle, and I'm pretty hazy.
It is hazy.
Mine's pretty clear.
Yeah.
That's strange. All right.
Desert dust.
Yeah, maybe.
As far as flavor goes, I'm not too good with my palate yet, so I'm gonna hand it over to Peter.
Good start, Grant.
Yeah. Hey, I'm done with the lying. All right.
So the first thing you start off with, I mean, it's pretty fruity. It's got a lot of upfront flavor. It's not like a fruit beer. It's a mixture of a lot of zestiness. It kind of tastes some light mango flavor, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
It's the carbonation is right on the verge of being kind of creamy, but it's still got that really sharp carbonation flavor once it gets on the tongue.
I actually, you know what? The mango. Now that I'm trying it more, I'm pulling in a lot more, I guess, apricot flavor from it. It doesn't smell like. It smells like mango.
I'm kind of getting both now that you guys mentioned it. I don't know if it's just because he said something, but I can totally taste that now.
Yeah, or like an underripe peach, maybe.
Yeah, something that maybe I shouldn't have eaten that, but
maybe we should have given it another day. Yeah. It's good though because it balances well with the malty characteristics of it and the bitterness of the hops. I don't think they add any fruit to it, but that must come all from the hops that they're using.
I don't see anything on the bottle about it.
I don't either, but I think it's delicious. It's really good.
I'm enjoying it.
And the nice thing, I would add this to the list of beers that a beginner should drink.
I agree.
It doesn't have a lot of solid hop flavor. It does taste that more fruity. It'd be a good transition beer to get to your more imperial IPAs and your more truly IBU heavy beers.
Mm-hmm.
Like transitioning from those Hefeweizens and stuff and going to something a little bit more robust and a little bit more pungent in flavor.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you there.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nick, what do you think?
Agreed.
Okay.
With everything just said. 100%.
So, Grant, where would you like to drink this beer?
So, I've been thinking about it, and it all has to do with this fish on the label, which this is one of the coolest labels I've seen. It reminds me of the three-eyed fish from The Simpsons. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. It swims in the stream by
Blinky the three-eyed fish?
Yeah, Blinky, exactly. So for me, it just kind of reminded me of sitting on a stream bed fishing for three-eyed fish. So that's probably where I'd drink it. Maybe not for three-eyed fish, but just hanging out on the bank of a stream, drinking some Sculpin.
And isn't that fish have three eyes because of toxic chemicals in the stream?
Nuclear power plant, Mr. Burns.
So do you plan to be in a stream with toxic chemicals?
I don't know. Nick's dad just bought like a nuclear power plant or something.
So
not to get into personal information on the show. Sorry about that.
Social security number.
Yeah. What about you, Peter? What do you? If you had to name this beer a different name, what do you think?
You know, I'm gonna go with what we were just talking about. It kind of just popped in my head as we were thinking about it. I'd call it the farmer's market. Something where you can walk into a place and get a bunch of different flavors all at once, and you can just kind of try it different times, and you'll get a different flavor every time. So
easy.
I like it. Kevin?
You know, for my food pairing here, my go-to for IPAs is something kind of spicy, and because it's sweet and got a little bit of a bite to it, I'm gonna go with some type of barbecue food, but like a spicy barbecue sauce. So maybe some ribs or some chicken followed up with, or smothered in nice spicy stuff. All right, so let's bounce over to Nick. What's this? What do we got for spirit animal here?
All right, so I might get in some trouble for this one. A little background on the Sculpin, the fish that is currently on the bottle now.
Oh God.
So that fish actually it's a very poisonous fish, but it tastes really good.
Is it because of the nuclear reactor that it comes from?
Is it endangered, Dick? Please tell me it's not endangered.
So in the spirit of that, I drew Ballast Point. That represents ex-girlfriends. So I'll explain it to you. Like the Sculpin, they are very good-looking fish, good for eating, but also very poisonous, kind of like ex-girlfriends are.
All right.
And I wanted to keep the tradition of because Ballast Point, they do all their name all their beers after sea creatures, and like
Is that what
the Sculpin, I'd also like to throw some ex-girlfriends in the ocean.
Easy, Eminem.
Yeah. The sirens.
Brutal, getting real.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the next beer here. We're going to go with the Arrogant Bastard Ale from Arrogant Bastard Brewing Company. Little stats for you here.
Hey, do you have this on the back of your
I do.
our bottle?
On the back,
No,
too.
I got this.
Actually, Nick, if you look on the side of there,
Don't regret this.
it'll say Arrogant Bastard Brewing Company. And that's actually bringing me into the next point there. Oh, you have Stone. Oh, that's interesting.
Stone Brewing Company, Escondido.
See, I have the other way around. Can you guys see that?
I've got Arrogant Bastard.
I got
Okay.
Arrogant Bastard too. Their external distributorship must be Arrogant Bastard.
Nick, this is how you pour it.
So it's actually kind of interesting. What happened was, I guess the guy that brewed Arrogant Bastard, he also drew all the little devils that Stone uses. He decided that he wanted to break out and just brew Arrogant Bastard. So now he brews at different brewing companies, but he brews Arrogant Bastard Ale and then bottles them and ships them.
Wait,
So,
they let him take Arrogant Bastard?
well, I think it was his. So he's still associated with Stone. I think there's some association there, but
He freelances, kind of?
yeah, so he brews at like Maui Brewing Company, or I think I'm trying to think of what the other one was.
So he kind of has like one of the best jobs ever.
Yeah, so
Goes to different
really,
breweries and
really, it
brews
is
beer?
the best job ever.
Wow, good for him.
So anyways, let's give you some stats on here. It's an American Strong Ale, 7.2% alcohol by volume. The IBUs is considered classified, but done a little bit of research, and it's probably close to 100, about 98. Looks like this brew was born sometime in November of 1997. So, Peter, you would
Wow.
probably just turn 21 then.
Peter's old, by the way. Not like us young bloods.
So let's go ahead and pop the tops, give it a sniff, and we'll talk about it here in a minute.
So I've got mine was bottled in January 15th.
I have bottled in January 15th.
Oh! Same batch, maybe?
I have December 22nd, 15.
Oh, 15. Oh, you're last year. You're so old, Peter.
Kevin,
Enjoy by
ours are much better.
3/21/16. So I got 7 days.
Oh, I've got till the 14th of April.
Me too.
Oh,
Kevin,
damn, we
you-
are the same batch.
Kevin, we're
Brew
Brew Brothers.
Do you see my logo?
Cheers. Yeah.
Okay.
You'll regret this. Yeah, you probably will.
What's a different toast? Chin chin.
Prost is German.
Prost.
Yes,
Beer.
as I stated earlier, this is my first Arrogant Bastard.
It's a big one.
All right, Peter, what do you have to say about it? Oh, really?
Not cool.
Wow. So, I mean, your first sniff, I mean, you get some good malty tones. Looking at it, it's a very dark beer. I mean, you can barely see through it. That first taste, I would say caramelly with the
Caramely.
tart, like a caramely tartness. It's kind of a weird experience. The back end, you can kind of taste some brown sugar flavor, but nothing too sweet.
It's very complex.
It's a very heavy beer.
Yeah, it's thick. It lingers in your mouth. It coats your tongue and your cheeks
Yeah.
and everything.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
It's not going anywhere, that's for sure.
No.
And
I
you
guess
can
that's why they call it
Just like
Arrogant
the
Bastard.
show, everyone. Just like the
you
show.
taste the ABV too.
It's not
the
going
ABV is very
anywhere.
apparent.
Yeah, that's the surprising part. Every time I drink it, I keep expecting to just get a blast of hops being that high. But the malt balances it out so nicely that you don't get that at all.
It's not like it doesn't taste like an imperial or anything. Like I was expecting something super heavy by the way you were talking about it being classified, but
Yeah. No, it's
nothing
definitely
like an imperial.
It's definitely a strong ale. I mean, it's very malt forward, with the hops kind of just adding a little bit in contrast.
Yeah.
This would be a beer I don't think I would want to drink more than a 22 just because it's so
That would be dangerous.
complex. Yeah, I don't know. It's just really heavy and it's awesome. I do like it a lot.
I definitely would get like full after drinking
Yeah.
22 of this.
Yeah. It's definitely a pint or two
Or-
at the most.
Or Sailor Jerry or whatever that
But the thing is that you
around is
gotta
called.
you gotta think about it. It's not you would have to stop drinking it because it's bad or it would get overwhelming. It's just it's heavy for a kind of medium bodied beer, if that makes sense, and then it's just so alcoholic that you could really get in trouble. Yeah, you could keep drinking it.
It's almost like you would turn into an arrogant bastard if you drank a bunch of it.
Yeah, you probably could. We could find that out one night if you guys wanted to.
Well, next time you're in town, let me know.
Edward Arrogant Master.
I like the head on it though. It's kind of a tan cream color, and it doesn't really go away, or at least it comes back every time I tip the glass to take a drink of it.
Yeah.
It does. You're right. I didn't notice that.
And the fizziness actually really complements the beer, so that's really nice.
It's definitely one of those beers you couldn't drink another one, a different kind after even. I mean, because it's going to change the flavor of that beer tremendously, just through the lingering of the flavors that you get from it.
I agree, and honestly, if I had known that, I probably would have changed this up and put Black Butte in front of it, but we'll see.
Well,
At least
Kevin-
it's got the malt that flows into it.
At least you
It's
admit
good
when you screw up.
transfer.
What's that?
At least you admit when you screw up.
Yeah, at least it didn't screw up.
You kind of might as well. I don't know. Just end it.
Let's end it now.
Nick,
Well,
how's it going over there?
Yeah, how you feeling, Nick?
I'm good. I'm not 100% yet, but I'm getting there.
Well, finish this class. How much do you have left?
A lot.
Hey, Kevin,
Show us.
Mm-hmm.
when you take a deep breath, do you just get straight hops off the smell?
No.
No.
I get
I
dried
mean,
boogers.
it's definitely, you get a lot of the hop aroma.
Well, not like it's not like a straight hop beer, but you get more hops than you do the malt.
Yeah, I'll agree. So for me, I would say aroma goes hops, then malts, and then flavor comes malts complemented with hops,
Mm-hmm.
which is actually, I kind of enjoy that. All right, let's go to let's go to Grant. Grant, where would you drink this?
Oh, let's go to Peter and figure out
Okay, Peter,
So-
what would you rename this beer?
Nick. Because
I'm gonna stick with the arrogant bastard namesake, but I'm gonna switch it up and go the Sleeping Scotsman.
Sleeping Scotsman.
Oh.
Actually, you know what? I might give you that. Even though it's American strong ale, it's got kind of that Scottish ale sweetness from the malts.
Yeah, and I feel like if you drank one or two 22s of these, you'll be sleeping. So I like the Sleeping Scotsman for it.
I like it. Good one.
Clever.
Good one. Grant, you have a place to drink
got
this
it.
yet?
So it's kind of a generic place, more of a situation. It's when you wake up in the morning and all of a sudden you see. Now I live in a valley, so it doesn't snow very often. So if there's an inch of snow, everything shuts down. So you wake up, there's an inch of snow, everything shuts down. You can't go into work, and you're like, oh no, what do I have? Oh, and they have like 222s Arrogant Bastard. That's a problem. And then all of a sudden you're like, you drink, you're like, no, this is plenty. So it's kind of it warms you up. It's thick. It's nice on a cold day. So on a snow day, when you get to stay home from work or school.
So would you
Right.
call it a snowed-in drinking,
Yeah.
snowed-in
That's all
drinking ale?
All you need is a couple of them. So.
Yeah. For food, because it's a strong ale, typically I go with kind of a lighter side of the food chain. But I would have to say a nice salmon would pair well with this. Something a little lemony, something maybe a citrus lemon fish, because it's kind of a lighter meat. I think it would do well with the heavy body, malty flavors that accompany the Arrogant Bastard. Oh, by the way, Happy Pie Day, everybody. 3/14.
Yes.
Oh, we'll throw that on the outtakes.
I think you should put that in the real show.
Yeah, I'm sure that would go over well. Nick, go ahead and show us your spirit animal for this Arrogant Bastard. Is that a
Well, that's
kangaroo?
It is.
Is that a giant penis going out through the back?
That is a jacked kangaroo.
Does it have two
Right?
thumbs on its right hand?
Those are supposed to be fingers.
Where's its pouch at?
It was playing with fireworks on the 4th of July.
This
It plays in the
kangaroo sure doesn't have any pouches.
Okay, what's the story? I want to know.
Yeah, tell us about it. Nick.
Well,
Wait, did you say it's a male
I
kangaroo?
needed to, well, I wanted to stick with the arrogant side of this beer. So that's why I had him flipping you off. And he's wearing, I don't know if you noticed, he's wearing some shades there. Kind of like a bro.
Kind of like you were yesterday.
Yeah.
You hungover.
And I mean, with the IBU like over 90, I mean it's a hoppy beer, and he's a kangaroo. Get it?
Oh God.
He's hoppy.
Jesus. That's bad.
Nick, that's pretty intimidating.
It's
Save it for the Imperials.
arrogant hoppy kangaroo.
I like it. I'll cheers to that.
All right, good one, Nick. I like that. For our last beer, we're going to go with the Deschutes Black Butte Porter. A couple of notes on this beer. We have Deschutes Brewing Company from Bend, Oregon. This is a porter, believe it or not. 5.2% ABV, 30 IBUs with an original gravity somewhere between 1.055 and 1.060. I'm not sure when it was born, but it did win a gold medal at the American Brewers Festival in 1996, so I believe it was sometime around then. We're looking at, yeah, they did good work with this beer, but the grain bill includes pale, carapils, chocolate, crystal, and wheat, along with some Cascade, Bravo, and Tettnang hops.
Hey, Caesar, so, your dog's barking.
I noticed that. Let's go ahead and...
I'm going to go out and say that I just love this beer. I'll always drink it. It's a good beer.
Yeah. Well, Grant, you think you could give us some tasting notes on it first?
It's pretty thick. Let's see.
That's what she said.
Is it, Peter?
Yeah, Peter.
Look at that light distribution.
What am I like? Kind of let's see. Smoky? Is that the flavor I'm thinking? Chocolatey. Smoky, maybe? Sure. It's obviously very thick, like no light gets through it. The head is a little creamy, almost. Seems to linger some. The aroma. I'm getting more of that chocolate type of aroma. Guys, I just love this beer. If I want a thick beer and it's on tap somewhere, I'll definitely get it. Fairly malty.
I'm sorry.
No.
You keep saying the word thick, but every time I have a different porter, I can only have one. It's a good nightcap, but Black Butte, you can drink two and not feel just overcome with fullness.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually agree with you, Peter. I think it's kind of more of a medium body for me. I don't think it's too thick at all.
Yeah.
Not too thick. Not that you're saying it's too thick, Grant.
It's got a lot of flavor, but it doesn't fill you up, and it doesn't make you just feel like you just ate a full meal.
You guys might be right. Especially compared to the previous beer, which was extremely thick. I found. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm speaking more to the color.
But Grant, as I smell it, I do get a very roasted. I don't know if I want to go as far as smoky, but definitely a good roasted with notes of chocolate, like a dark chocolate or coffee. And then the weird part is it comes in very creamy.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's kind of smooth.
Yeah, it's they did a good job of that.
I get more coffee notes.
Yeah, I agree.
More than anything. But I love porters, so.
But even the flavor isn't like one of those super heavy portery tastes. Mm-hmm. It's something that you could sit there and you could introduce someone into the joys of, going back to the question earlier, it's an introduction beer that we can get someone into drinking a darker beer that's not going to just overcome their palate, where it's just going to be like, whoa, that's way too much. It's this is a lot like a heavier ale. Or it's definitely a step down from what the Arrogant Bastard was in terms of overcoming flavor and just complexity. It's just down to the roots of what a porter should taste like, and it's really perfected by how they've really narrowed down those tastes that you get every time you sip it. It's consistent.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. I think when it comes to trying beers, I think you instantly start out with a hef, and then move either to an amber or a porter, depending on how hoppy you want to go. If you want more hoppy, you start with an amber. If you want less, I almost think you start with a porter. And I think this is a great introduction to heavier, darker beers.
Kevin, what about these food pairings?
So as far as food pairing goes, since I've already kind of given some main courses, normally with a porter I would give something as a main course for something, a nice dark red meat, maybe a venison steak. but I'm actually going to go with a dessert this time and just go simple vanilla ice cream. I think this would complement well with that, kind of the sweetness of that. And then you add in the coffee and dark chocolate notes from the porter, and I think they would really kind of compare to each other and really help each other out and make a better flavor in your mouth.
Sounds good to me, man.
I know.
You thinking like a Black Butte float?
I was going to say, if you really wanted to, you could probably float a scoop of ice cream in here, and that would be really good. Maybe make it even more creamy.
Peter, have you thought of a name?
So I'm going to go back to this beer's roots and what Bend and Central Oregon Living is all about, and go with the Blue Square. If anybody's a skier who's listening or watching, it's really the middle of the road run. It's not going to really make you work too hard for it, and you can really enjoy it. But it's going to be a little bit more technical than you would do on a green circle. So I would definitely go Blue Square for the name of this.
Grant, where would you drink this beer?
Speaking of country, picture this. We got a nice cow pasture with some bales of hay for whatever reason are sitting there, and you're just sitting on those bales of hay as the sun's setting. It's probably a nice 65 to 70 degrees, maybe 65 to 60 degrees, a little cooler because you've been working hard all day. And you crack a couple of these with your buddies, sitting there. That's what I'm picturing.
Grant, you just described how they ended up writing Brokeback Mountain.
What's wrong with that, Kevin?
That's the first thing I thought of too.
It won some awards.
If that's what that leads you to, then that's okay. Fine by me.
Let's live in Oregon.
I forgot about Heath Ledger whispering things in your ear.
Sweet nothings.
So we're not
So
kidding.
I revealed this to you guys last night, but
You did?
we're gonna do.
We just got the logo.
Oh, nice
yeah.
elk. All right, tell us why it's announced, Nick.
The reason I pick an elk, I don't know what it is with Deschutes beer for some reason seems very like earthy to me.
Okay,
I mean, part of it might just be like growing up fishing on Deschutes. Because elk are like majestic, and I feel like elk would be hanging out at Black Butte, and it's a darker beer, so I mean elk are brown. That's about it.
So did we get an elk call? Did we get an elk call yesterday?
Hey, Nick, I hate to say it, but you and I are kind of on the same wavelength there. I said venison, you said elk, so we at least got four-legged horned creatures. Okay, guys, so let's finish this off. Let's go around. Let's give our pints. How many pints do you give this beer, Grant? Let's start with Sculpin.
I enjoyed Sculpin quite a bit. I will definitely look out for it again. It was an easy drink for me. I could definitely drink a few of them. I'd probably go. I think I'm going to go with 4 out of 5 pints.
4? Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's a good beer. I agree. Nick.
Sculpin. I would give it a. I'd give it a 4.
A 4. I had a feeling you would rate that down, even though it's from San Diego.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I've had better IPAs in San Diego.
Peter.
I'm gonna actually agree with Nick. I wasn't impressed by it. It wasn't something that's gonna shoot to the top of my list of must-have beers. But honestly, I think it got me more excited to try the variations, the pineapple and the different flavors, because of its basic tendencies of flavor and consistency. I think it'd be a great starting beer for a lot of people. So I honestly am going to give it like a 3.5, just because of its just really basicness.
I think that's smart, middle of the road. I'm going to agree with the other two here. It's a really good IPA, good starting IPA, very fruity, very. I don't want to say hoppy and scare people off, but it's hoppy enough that you get the idea that it's an IPA with that fruity backbone. So I'm actually also going to give it a 4.
Yeah.
So let's Peter, why don't you go ahead and go again, and let's talk about Arrogant Bastard.
All right, first experience with Arrogant Bastard tonight. Drank a full 22 ounces of it, and it's definitely one that I'll probably keep on hand, or at least reach for when I go to the grocery store. It's not one I'll drink on a regular basis, obviously, because you just can't. But I mean, like Grant said, every now and then on a random day where you just kind of want to drink a beer that's gonna do a little bit more than a standard beer. I'll say Arrogant Bastard gets a 4 out of 5.
Okay, good. Grant.
So I really do enjoy Arrogant Bastard, but with beers, I tend to lean towards ones that don't linger as long in the mouth, and it's kind of it is a thicker beer. I do think it tastes really good, but it coats my mouth too much, and so I don't enjoy that personally as much. So I'm going to give it probably a 3.75. Are we doing quarter pints?
Yes.
Okay, 3.75 pints. It is a good beer. I do enjoy it, but it's just my personal taste. I just don't enjoy the thickness of it as much.
Okay. Nick?
Still drinking it.
Still drinking it.
I'm working on it. I'll give it a 4.5.
Whoa!
Oh, wow.
All right.
That's the highest you've rated a beer. No, it's tied for the highest.
Yeah, because it's a stone beer, so it already has to go up like a half a pint.
Not quite a stone beer. It's actually Arrogant Bastard.
I have to keep the bias alive.
Okay, 4.5. That's smart.
Sad thing is, between Ballast Point and Stone, he's out of San Diego breweries.
He is.
Except for Green Flash, but...
Yeah. So, I'm actually going to go more Grant here. I think it's a really complex beer. It's very heavy, pretty boozy. I like it. I think it offers a lot, but I don't think it's something that stands out to me. And for that, I'm going to give it a 3.5. Actually, I'm going to give it a 3.75, just like Grant. But it's not a beer that I would recommend to somebody that's just starting out with beer drinking. You definitely have to have your palate a little bit more adjusted to a maltier forward beer. So let's switch up the order and go to Nick first for Black Butte.
I'm gonna give Black Butte a 3.5. No, 3 3/4.
3 3/4. That's very generous of you for not a San Diego beer.
Yeah, but I mean it is a really good porter. It's not very.
Okay.
It's beer.
It's beer. Okay. Peter, what do you think?
I'm going to actually do the opposite of what Nick normally does and go away from the hometown hero. I mean, Deschutes Brewery is known by its Black Butte Porter. It's really label beer. It's what everybody knows it by between that and Mirror Pond. But honestly, if I'm going for a porter, I'm going to go for something that just, and this is a personal preference, but I'm going to go for something that's really a porter gonna taste like a true porter rather than an entry level. So I'm gonna have to say 3.75 for the Black Butte.
7.5. Oh, okay. And Grant, have we gone to you yet?
Nope. So I really do enjoy the Black Butte Porter. It's an easy drink. I always enjoy it. I was just thinking about it. It's always available at my grandma's house. She always has it there for Thanksgiving and everything. Maybe that's why I enjoy it so much. But I'm going to give it a solid 4. Like I really, I do enjoy it a lot.
Nice.
Never see it, offered at a gathering or something. Just like Black Butte. Don't feel like it. I'll always go for it. So 4 out of 5 pints for me.
4 or 5 pints. You know what? This is probably the most I've ever disagreed with all of you. Black Butte Porter's hands down one of my favorite beers. If I'm going for a darker ale, it wasn't even a second thought in my mind. I gave it 4.5 pints out of 5.
Nice.
It's a great porter, a great introduction porter, a great complex porter if you want to dig into it. You could drink this thing for days and never get tired of it. So it's it's kind of the go-to porter for me, and being from Oregon, it's one that I will miss drinking on tap.
Are you gonna start crying?
I'm gonna cry here for a little bit.
What, are you crying?
Do you want me to fill a keg full or a growler full of it and send it to you?
You could just mail that to me. That'd be great.
All right, so this has been episode number 2 of Buds and Suds. We appreciate you all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check us out at _Buds&Suds on Instagram, Twitter, and Periscope. Our Gmail is Nick? Can't remember.
Buds&Suds 2016.
Buds&Suds 2016. Please reach out to us. Ask us all your questions, any comments, anything you loved or did not like about the show. We would love to hear from you. We'll be back with you soon.
Grant. If you don't like Grant, you can tell us.
Yeah, please tell us. But if you do like me, please tell us that too. I would love to hear it. Once again, thanks for joining us, and cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.